We are experiencing some extraordinary times with COVID-19 and stay-at-home orders. So for everyone's safety, interviews and segments that I've had scheduled have been postponed. So get ready. The Casey Malone Show is digging into its archives and bringing you some of our greatest hits. Enjoy, stay positive, and then I'll be working on some new recipes and lining up some new segments. And we will be back with you very soon with some new programming. Please stay safe. Closed captioning for The Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
The first Saturday in May means Kentucky Derby, which is now September 5th. Let's make some bourbon treats, Kentucky Derby pie and bourbon salted caramels. But first, in honor of Home Brewers Day, let's visit last year's event. Well, we all know that the first Saturday in May is Kentucky Derby Day, but it is also International Home Brewers Day. And the local home brewers get together the first Saturday of May out here at Farmer Casey's Ranch, owned by Purple Cat. And there are, as you can see, a ton of people here. They are brewing right now on premises and then sharing beers that they've made before. All the proceeds from this great homebrewer event goes to the Purple Cat. There's music, there's items up for auction, and then you get the camaraderie and you learn some different brewing techniques. So we're gonna have a really good time today. Sean and Bill are home brewers, but they are about to open their own brewery up in Grove City. It'll be Big Rail Brewery. Now, where did the name come from?
I currently work for a local railroad, so it kind of came from that.
Well, that's good. There's not a lot of railroad beers. Right. And Sean, how long have you two been brewing together?
Oh, about 15 years, maybe more.
What are you and Christopher brewing here?
We are brewing a very special beer that we've been inspired by our little friend. There's a little friend over here. We have a black duck laying eggs as we sitting on eggs.
Sitting on the eggs and waiting to hatch them.
Yeah. And if I were as chilled out as that duck, my stress levels aren't low enough. I got to be like the duck.
So the title of the beer that you're brewing here is?
We're going to call this Black Duck Brut IPA. It's going to be a real dry IPA with some very interesting hops, and we're going to use champagne yeast, which is going to dry it up a little bit, and it'll ferment out the sugar, so it'll be dry. It won't be sweet, but it'll be very floral and hoppy.
John O'Donnell is a very experienced brewer. You said almost 20 years.
19 years, April this year.
What made you start home brewing?
I like craft beer, but the price, it's cheaper to brew it yourself.
And I mean, how many, mistakes did you learn from?
Several. Several. You always got to make a mistake, but like you said, you learn and you move on.
You guys are the ones who really make the craft fine beers. And we'll call them what, Red House? But it's
Red House Loveless Lager.
Okay, this is Donnie Loveless, and then we have Cole. And how long have you guys been home brewers?
I just had my 40th anniversary of brewing beer. And Donnie, I taught, and he's been here 2 years doing it.
I'm learning from the apprentice. I am apprentice learning from the master.
Ron and John are also home brewers. How long have you two been brewing together?
About a year and a half.
What made you start doing it, Ron?
I started drinking the stouts and the porters. I liked them, and the cost. I just started wanting to brewing my own beers and trying it.
You are very familiar with Farmer Casey's Ranch. This has really grown, hasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me the difference from the beginning to now.
All right, a long time ago, this had little chickens and ducks and stuff. Now, look at it now. It is crowded with pigs, everything in there.
They got the peacocks, the alpacas.
Yeah.
I've got Lonnie and Eric, who are both very well-known DJs from Golden String Radio. Now, Lonnie, when you're spinning, what is your favorite kind of music?
I play gospel music every Saturday morning on Golden Stream Radio.
Okay, so you got to listen for Lonnie. Now, Eric, what do you like to play when you're spinning?
Well, I love country music, and I'm going to Nashville, Tennessee with my father, and everything's cool.
You are going to Nashville?
Yep.
No way. You're going to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame?
Yes, I am.
You help everybody when they have trouble with their brewing, right?
Try to, yeah, absolutely. Anytime they have problems, or hopefully they don't have many problems, but I will guide them along.
Yes. So, Guru, how many years have we been having this event for our area home brewers?
It started out in 1999, really small, over in Brookfield when we had a shop there, with about 10 brewers, maybe at the most, that attended the whole thing. And now it's grown into this.
Well, Jimmy Sutman, you know my buddy, Isle, Purple Cat, and you guys are the beneficiary of the proceeds from this great event.
Yes, we are the beneficiaries. And every year it grows.
Crazy.
We hit our zenith a couple years ago. It was almost snowing out here, and everyone was like, oh gosh, it's going to be a terrible event. And it was our biggest ever. People were dying to get out here. The beer brings people despite the weather.
So now, the guys that are brewing on site, they give you the spent grains for the animals.
Yeah, it's super cool. We have pigs here, so the spent grains, the pigs will eat the spent grains. Our goats and our alpacas, they're a little more picky. But our composting program is something to be proud of. The spent grains are so valuable because they're steaming. I mean, they're steaming now. They just made beer, but they'll be steaming next Wednesday. And what that helps is it breaks down the compost.
Are you really drinking a PBR?
I'm a cheap date. I'm a PBR drinker, but everything is a step up from PBR. So all of this stuff is wonderful, and I will drink it.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor. In bringing you the local flavor of the region, I have many friends that own and work in restaurants, bars, and taverns. During this COVID-19 crisis, I'm asking that you support them through carry-out orders. On WFMJ.com, there is a complete listing on the restaurant carry-out and delivery guide. Your continued support of these businesses is necessary to ensure that they will be here for us when this crisis is over.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bernard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for over 30 years, and my message has never changed. If you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may face. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court, and remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at ElizabethBernardLaw.com.
R&S Paint is a locally owned paint store and not a paint department. Inspiration comes easy when choosing exciting Benjamin Moore colors and finish. Over 3,400 vibrant and durable colors are yours at R&S Paint.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service, independent insurance agency. We work with several insurance companies to offer you choices for your insurance needs. We'll find the right product at the right price. Personal, business, farm, life. Trust Mayflower Woolham. You focus on what's important, we'll take care of the details. Mayflower Woolham, close by with 3 locations to serve you.
Woolley Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Woolley Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Join the Isle and Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available. Given is living.
Si hablas predominantemente español, te ayudaremos a aprender inglés. Ven a trabajar para nosotros.
One of my favorite sporting events of the year is the Kentucky Derby. Love the Derby. I love everything about it. And on my bucket list will be a trip to Churchill Downs, where I sit in the nice seats, not that infield, and I'm going to have a beautiful mint julep. I'm going to bet on the ponies. I'm going to look great, have a gorgeous hat, and that is something I will do before I die. But in the meanwhile, I attend Kentucky Derby parties at my friends' homes, and there's always a lot of recipes with bourbon. So I'm going to make two pretty easy desserts for you to make that both contain bourbon. The first one is Susie White's Kentucky Derby pie. She made this on my Thanksgiving episode, and it is pretty easy with a few ingredients, but she did go to the University of Kentucky, she and her husband Charlie, so she does know a little bit about bourbon and about the Derby. And my next recipe that I'm going to make is, what do you say, caramels? I say caramels, or caramels. And they have bourbon with flaky sea salt on top, and those are delicious. So let's get started with some Kentucky Derby recipes. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pre-made pie crust, or make your own if you like, 1 cup of sugar, 1 stick of unsalted butter melted, 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2 large eggs beaten, 1 ounce of bourbon, 1 cup of pecans, and 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate morsels. Well, as you probably know, I'm not a great baker, so I am using a pre-made pie crust. And I did a pretty good job. I lined it in the glass dish, and I fluted it a little bit. But if you are good with the crust, do feel free to make your own. Now, we don't even need a blender or anything for this. We're just going to put the sugar and the flour in, and then we add the melted butter. This is 1 cup. And then all I do is mix this until combined. And it doesn't take that long, and it gets really gloopy. It's not really attractive. But you don't want to overbeat it, but you do want it to get all the flour and sugar incorporated evenly. Now, I am going to add the bourbon and the eggs, and we'll mix that a little bit more. Smells really good. The bourbon adds a real depth and richness to this pie. And now the only thing we have to do is take our pecans. I've crushed a couple of them, but you want to kind of leave them in the bigger pieces. And semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you mix that all together. It's mixed thoroughly. So now what we're going to do is just take this and pour it into our waiting pie crust. All right, we'll scrape out, don't want to miss any of the good stuff. I preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Watch the time beginning at about 55 minutes. Of course, my mom's oven runs pretty hot, so I'll start checking it at 55. And in the meanwhile, we'll get going and we'll make the caramels. This is a great recipe and a real treat. I love caramels, or caramels, however you say that. And this has bourbon in it, and then a little bit of flaky sea salt on the top, so you get that sweet and you get the salty. And it's really pretty easy to make. I'm not much of a candy maker, but you get the corn syrup, the sweetened caro, and then sugar and the milk, and it's really pretty easy to put together. But you got to watch your timing, because as you're waiting for that beautiful amber color to come from the sugar, you've got to make sure, because it can burn and turn very quickly. So let's get going. We're going to make the caramels with bourbon and sea salt. For this recipe, you'll need 2 cups of sugar, 1/2 cup of light corn syrup, 1/4 cup of water, 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 1/2 cup of butter sliced into pieces, 2 tablespoons of bourbon, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and flaky sea salt for garnish. I put the corn syrup, the sugar, and the 1/4 cup of water into medium-sized saucepan. Right now it's over medium-high heat. This is probably the longest part of our process. It's like a sugary sludge right now. And we are just going to keep mixing this and mixing this until it liquefies. And eventually, it's gonna be about 10 minutes. We are just gonna keep stirring and stirring and stirring until it caramelizes. And it will turn like a really pretty amber color. And that is when we know it's in the right state.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Catullo, and I'm the owner of Catullo Prime Meats. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, that's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
My basement was dreadful. Cracked concrete, chipped tiles, it was my dumping ground. Carpet, vinyl, wood don't last. Now I have Pebblestone, the best basement floor covering, made with natural stone and the strongest man-made binder. Pebblestone evened out my floor. Easy to clean, resists moisture, and withstands flooding. You will love your basement. Call locally owned Pebblestone, the best flooring system. It's not just any stone, it's Pebblestone.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
There's a new standard in assisted living.
One that combines comfort, luxury, convenience, and the highest quality expert care.
Your loved ones can experience it now in Canfield's premier senior living location.
The Inn at Ironwood offers fine dining and amenities such as a concierge, salon, housekeeping, and laundry services.
And a truly elegant setting in Canfield.
Call us for more information or visit us and take a tour.
The Inn at Ironwood, Canfield's premier senior living location.
Selling engagement rings never gets old. It's love.
It's a huge on-taping because they're going to wear that ring probably forever, but if they're not going to wear it forever, they're going to pass it down to somebody.
Our rings will hold a lifetime, and we want to make sure it does. We stand by every single thing that we sell. I believe I can find the perfect ring. I really try to get them exactly what she would want.
And to just be a little part of that is really, it warms your heart inside.
Get real, get Kamara.
I am here with Rude the Dude from the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery. Rain, nor snow, nor coronavirus is going to keep the Magic Tree from serving you.
Yeah, Casey, we're staying positive through this whole thing. You know, we're offering 41 craft beers to go in our growlers, our crowlers. We still have your local beers to go. We have wine to go. We're going to be open every day 11 to 8. We have 20% off for EMTs, first responders, hospital workers, gift card specials. You spend 50, get 10 free, 100, get 25 free. We also offering free kids meals with every adult purchase. So we're just basically trying to support everybody who's supported us over the past, support the other local restaurants and bars also.
That's right. Just go to their Facebook page and you will see what is available each and every day. They've always supported the community, and now it's time for the community to support the local restaurants. Just come to the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery for takeout. And now we return to finish our Kentucky Derby treats. All right, so now that we have, see this beautiful amber? Perfect color. All right, I'm gonna turn off this heat. We don't want it to cook anymore right now. And now watch this reaction. You are going to love this. Now we are going to add our butter. This is 1 stick. watch how it bubbles. Okay, isn't that wild? Now remember, your heat needs to be off. And we are going to add our sweetened condensed milk. This is a good time to start whisking it. Now I'm going to put our heat on medium-low. And what we have to do now is bring this mixture to 240 degrees. Now I have a thermometer here that is digital, and it goes to about 400 or 500. But most of your regulars do not go that high. It usually only goes to about 200 if you have one for the kitchen. If you have a candy thermometer, you can stick that on. But there is a little trick that I have learned. Now, if you have a glass of ice water nearby, and you see it's coming together nicely, all you have to do is drop just a little glob into the ice water, and if it forms a ball and when you pull it out, it's taffy-like, caramel-like, it's done. So I'll just take a little bit of this and drop it in there. And see, it floats right down there at the bottom. I'm just gonna dig it out with this spoon. And look at that. See? It's like a little ball, and it is perfect consistency. Just like caramel should be. So now that we're at the proper temperature, we now have turned off the heat. I'm going to sprinkle in the kosher salt, and last but not least, our bourbon. And mix it all together. Look at that. All right, what I've done is you can use an 8x8 or a 9x9 pan. Make sure you spray it first with nonstick spray, then put in the parchment paper and spray it again. So now we are going to pour in our bourbon caramel sauce. Well, it takes quite a few hours for the caramel to set up. So I made a batch this morning. All right, lucky for you.
Yes.
Now here's the easy part. You see, she always shows up at the end.
I know.
So we are
grand finale.
Yeah. So we are going to now lift this easy peasy out of the pan, see? And then we'll flatten it. And see, it's a nice size. And now is the time that we sprinkle it with the maltin. And now it will kind of stay on there, because if you added it when it was at all warm, it would have melted right in. You saw the chemical reactions when I was cooking this stuff. Now, we're gonna wrap these. You're gonna be like Lucy, and I'm gonna be Ethel. We're gonna be a candy factory. Yeah, you get one eat, one wrap. So this is probably the best device to cut them, and you don't want to make them too large. I recommend about 3/4 of an inch. So you just go right down like that. See, you want it straight. Yeah. I mean, think about a piece of candy and what size you would like. And then we'll do like a nice little square, right?
Yes.
Because this is loaded with stuff. Okay. And roll them, and then go like that, and then twist them. See?
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm exhausted. We must have wrapped over 100 pieces of our bourbon caramels.
That's right, Lucy.
They're delicious. Thanks, Ethel. Now I've got another treat for you. The Kentucky Derby Pie's out, but of course we have to kick it up a notch. Not that it's not delicious like it is, but we've got to get our bourbon whipped cream on top. So real quickly, I'll make this. This is a 1/2 pint of heavy whipping cream. This is a 1/4 cup powdered sugar. And then a quarter of a cup.
Good old Kentucky
bourbon. Yes, Ken was not very happy. He's like, what are you doing with my bullet bourbon? I says, don't you worry about it. So now all we'll do is I'm going to take my immersion blender, and this will be whipped cream in no time. All right, so there you go. A little dollop of some bourbon cream. I think bourbon is so versatile. It goes with so many things. All right, so let's see. Susie's Pie. Remember how much we enjoyed that for the Thanksgiving show?
It's delicious.
I mean, it is. So many wonderful flavors. The chocolate, the pecans. It's not super sweet. No. It really is delicious. And you saw how easy all this stuff was. So remember, you've got to cook a little bit more with bourbon. All right, so here's to the Derby. Here is to Churchill Downs.
Pie.
And Susie White, thank you very much. And for all these recipes, go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. And you are going to enjoy these Kentucky Derby treats. Go. Cheers.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.